Starting the stream now. Let me see here. Alright, looks like we're live. Okay. Hello everybody. Welcome back to ArmaGuyz channel. Today I'm going to do something a little different. I'm going to take one of my StormWorks builds out for some testing. Me and my friend about a week ago, we decided to, maybe a little bit longer than a week ago, we decided we want to try out crabbing in StormWorks. And so we've had StormWorks for a long time. I've got a lot of hours in this game over time. And so what we decided to do was make crab boats. Well, he did make one. He's been busy. But I decided to go ahead and make my own. And so he's been kind of helping me along after I got the boat done. I tried some different engines. I tried, I think I was the small engine first, and then I tried the medium engine. I think I built it with the medium engines in it, and things just weren't right. He's more of the modular engine side, so he built some modular engines, and he had one that he wanted to work pretty good. And the thing with modular is that one of the reasons why I don't like it is that every time an update comes, you follow all these tutorials and stuff, and you try to do it right. And what ends up usually happening is you do everything to the letter, and then your controller, for whatever reason, doesn't work. The engine doesn't work right. So those are just a lot of time-consuming stuff. And props to anybody that wants to do that. There's a lot of modular engine stuff that works great, but I'm just not into those. So I let him handle that side of the thing. And majority of modular engines that other people build, they end up using, I think it's called ZE controller on the workshop. And it works. That's fine, it works. But for me, I like to have more personalized things. And my buddy Rasim, he decided, yeah, I think I'm just going to go ahead and build my own engine controller. So he did. And so these are his engines in my boat and his controller. And I tried some different things with the crabbing setup. So like when you drop the pods, the problem is that you're limited by winch length. So there's some things that I'll show you. Let me go ahead and turn this camera off. I just wanted to say howdy to my subscribers. And go ahead and shut that down. And that'll be out of the way of the stream since we have black bars going on here. I apologize, guys. Not every game is set up for streaming on a widescreen monitor. So I'm just going to go ahead and run it. I was going to test this anyway, so this isn't some kind of big spectacular stream. I just decided to go ahead and stream my testing of it because Rasim is not home right now. He's actually overseas, and well, he actually was overseas before, but right now he is on vacation. So I'm going to get to send him the video of me running this test. So that is why I'm streaming this. So let's go ahead and get right into it. I've already got it spawned here in the dock. And I'll go ahead and mention another friend of mine, Space Cat. He helped me out a little bit. As you can see, there's a little bit of a floating buoy there. Just ignore that, okay? This is just me just playing around. This is not a super serious boat. This is just something that I built to crab with and had some trouble, so he came up with a silly solution to allow the buoys to float above the water. And the original buoys that I had, they didn't quite float right. And he also made this little balloon, which I added crab arms to, so it didn't quite float right. So he's just kind of along for the ride. We'll just call him Crab Man. And let's go ahead and get started. Some of the things, like I said, are not quite fully colored. I'll go ahead and show you around the boat for a minute. So obviously this is the back area of the boat. This area right here was painted for some reason, every time I paint this, it goes back to the white color. But I have an opening here on the crab boat that allows the pod to come out. It's just wide enough to allow those pods to be pushed out. But we don't do that here on this crab boat. I have a crane, and it's nothing super special, but I use the crane, and it does look a little silly with that buoy floating there. But like I said, this was all just a fun thing, so I don't really care. Say what you want. I know you serious builders absolutely hate XML blocks and things like that, but there's nothing on this boat that's XML besides. Actually, I don't even know if that's XML, but so the deal with these winches, like I said, I'd explain. So with these, you're limited to, I think, 40 feet on the medium winch and probably like 20 feet on the small winch. I'm just to say right off the bat, so no credit is lost. I am using Captain Cockerill's system. It was originally his setup. I changed some things and did some things my way, and so the logic's a little bit different because I had to accommodate these pulleys. And the idea behind adding the pulley to the winch was that I wouldn't have to daisy chain winches to be able to go to lower depths. So what we're doing here is we're running the medium winch into the pulley. I've got to keep a live block on the pulley just in case we drive too far away, we won't lose the pulley. We're going to keep a live block, obviously, on these crab pods, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, there it is. And then we have the cable going from the winch side, not the winch side, excuse me, from the output side, I want to say that's rope 2, to the buoy. And in Captain Cockerill's system, it just went from the buoy to the other winch, which would then go underwater and all that other stuff. What we have now is a different setup. So it's sort of Captain Cockerill's system, but it's not. This is a different adaptation. So, like I said, though, I always like to give credit where credit is due. And so Space Cat came up with this. Russ M did my engines. I'm going to go ahead and quickly change it to daylight so you guys can see the boat. Go ahead and like I said, this is not a spectacular thing. I'm not like showcasing my boat as if it's like the best boat. I'm literally testing a boat that I made. So, what we have here though is these pulleys currently have an unlimited length. You have to set the length by logic. And so that was the key to being able to fish crabs at much deeper depths without need of daisy chaining the winches. So just like most things in StormWorks, there's some, I guess you could say, bugs or glitches that work to our advantage sometimes. And so that's what we're doing here. So let me go ahead and show you guys into the engine room. Jump down here. Very simple. A little room here. I've got some breakers. I like to use breakers. A lot of people don't like breakers. I like to have that because you need to be able to isolate electric sometimes. Isolate different systems and things. So these are my engines. I shouldn't say my engines. This was Russ M's engine. He built for me. I just hooked it all up. And they're some big boys. They have a lot of ability, but we have them quite limited. And it's a twin, so he's pushing on both sides. I've only got 3 gearboxes on each side. And we'll go up into the cabin real quick, and I'll show you that as well. Close this. And I've got an entryway on both sides here that you can get into the cabin. This boat is still sort of being worked on, so there's still some things that aren't quite right. This is meant to be more of like a brass color. Like I said, it's still being worked on. There's still some sounds and things that I need to add in. But this is the main wheelhouse. And then under the wheelhouse here in the floorboards, I have the lower decks, which have the crew rooms. And then these doors kind of just fly open. It's not a big deal. You just need more health. I've got one dive suit and some fire suppression stuff, some thermal equipment because we are originally crabbing in the Arctic. I just like to build here at Creative Island. Just get out of here. And I have that little seat there. If you can't get out, you can always just sit on the seat. This at some point will probably become a map. And so that's the boat. There's not much else to really show there. Got a couple deck lights, some spots, and we're good to go. Here's the front side of the wheelhouse. And I got some porthole windows there, and some porthole windows in the back. And I've got a mast that goes up for all my communication equipment that I don't have set up yet. I don't have a fish finder yet. I don't really know if I want to put a fish finder on it yet. So that's my boat, and I haven't named it just yet. I'm not sure what I want to name it yet. Run those pumps on first. And give it a little bit of clutch here. I think she started. There we go. That was me just being stupid. I always forget to turn these pumps on when messing with this. Like I said, I just built this. So. Alright, and we're out to sea. We're on our way here. And I'll go ahead and open her up. Like I said, the engine's got plenty of power. We just kind of have limited it. And I'm just going to go right over here. And this is where I've been testing. I've got a depth finder here. 18. I'm just going to cruise on over here. I'm not a genius when it comes to logic in this game. I'm pretty new to logic, even though I've messed with it in StormWorks a lot. And I don't know most of what other people's stuff does. Like, I don't write my own microcontrollers all the time. I did at one time, but I went away from the game for a while, so I don't remember how to do all that anymore. So I can build, and that's pretty much where I stand. I can build, and I have to get the logic and stuff. Usually I have to get help with. So. Not for everything. Some of this stuff I've done on my own, but we're going to slow down. I'm going to go to a depth of 60 so it doesn't take all day. Go ahead and start slowing down. And we're at 60. And the engines can stay on, they can stay idle. They're not hurting anything. We've got lots of fuel. This thing just barely sips fuel. Got some keypads in here for at some point maybe like an autopilot kind of system. I'm not real sure about the other stuff. So I always include a compass in all of my builds that are going to actually be out. So that way you can verify your heading. Say if you take damage or something, or some electrical's not right, you can double check that your heading is in fact what it says it is. And then I have some regular binoculars, which I always like to have to be able to see further out. Got some oxygen and a med kit. And up here, these controllers control my spotlight up top. I've got a main spotlight. We've got wind direction coming in. I don't know if that's quite right set up yet. I set it up, but the logic might actually need to be inverted. I'm not sure yet. Let's see. So our compass ball, heading in degrees, like I do on most of my builds. This is the on button for the spotlight up top, I think. This is going to become later. This is a lockable button for an emergency stop. So instead of having the breaker up here in this area where when you join a multiplayer server, they can just turn your breaker off, stuff like that. I like to have emergency lockable buttons for that kind of thing, so people can't just do what they want to do on your boat. So I got a high gear button, a low gear button, and got, or indicators, I should say. And so I'm going to go ahead and we should probably just turn those engines off. All that smog coming out. Alright. So this is my control handle for the crane. I don't know if these gauges are set up or not. I had them set up, but things kind of got a little strange. So I'm going to go ahead and get on the crane. I'm going to hit 2 to raise up my crane here. I might even extend the arm just a skosh. Okay, we'll leave the arm in. They reset my crane. I didn't have it like that originally. I had it where you could I had it where the response was not like that. You could it was sticky. So anyway, let's go ahead and raise these up. Try not to bump the other. There we go. Try not to damage my crab pods. Alright, we'll just hit that button and extend the crane all the way out to the back. And it's important how this comes down. It should, if I'm careful, it should go down the way I want it to go down. And so with cockerel system, the way you have is when the buoy hits the water, the medium winch will start letting out rope. Okay, so we'll stop there. And she's letting out rope now. And she's going on down to the bottom. And I'm just going to trust my system. And I'm not going to swim down there. I'm just going to let it go down. And let me see if my indicators are working. No, they're not. So I probably need to ditch these. Well, whatever. That's fine. So the idea here is leave this cable connected long enough for this cage to get all the way down to the bottom. It's still going down. I can go. And the cable will stop the pulley cable will stop letting out rope when the cage reaches the bottom. The pots reach the bottom. Yeah, she's still going down. I was gonna add a gauge over here. Crab band's just barely hanging on. I was gonna add a gauge over here that I could tell the depth of my crab pot. And I thought we did, but I guess I might not have saved it. I don't know. That appears to be at the bottom. I'm not seeing any more movement. And I don't hear the winches anymore. So, let's see if I can reach that. The idea here was to not be able to have to go out there, but they reset that thing on my crane the last time they saved. Dang it, guys. Why did you guys do that? And they'll probably deny that they did, but I'm pretty sure they did. But yeah, she's down at the bottom, and I'm not seeing any more slack from the rope, so it seems like the system's working as it should. And then all I need to do is, I'll probably just go ahead and just swim out and disconnect that right there. Okay. It didn't quite let out enough rope. Like I said, this is not a showcase for the boat. This is just to test the boat. So. But the original buoy was not quite buoyant enough after adding a couple different things to it. It just still was not quite there. I think I know what to do. Let's reconnect the cable. And then maybe pull this up just a little bit and see if it just lets out some more cable. Let me see if it works. No, I need some light. Oh, right there. A little bit too far. Let's go back down. That's pretty close. Alright, now, just to check and see if that actually worked, I'm going to go grab my diving suit. I'm going to go down there real quick and see if it actually is on the floor now. Because I trusted the system already, and the system didn't quite work the way it should have. It should have actually extended out another foot or so. I don't know if that's because I had the buoy too far under the water, or what, but let's dive down and have a look. That is not on the floor. And I think it's because when I pulled it up, it was while it was on the floor, it started to retract. So let me let it back down and see if that makes a difference. And what's cool about the back of this boat is you can swim real fast. And you can just jump and you go right up on top of the boat. Let me let out some line here. That's probably good. Yeah, see, now it's completely submerged. Let's see. Did it let out any extra line? That line is completely taut. So it did not. It is just barely on the floor. So I think when we thought we had it fixed, we thought wrong. Or something that they thought they had that they didn't quite have separated. Because when we were playing with it, when they first set it, when Space Cat first set that, he had it where it would literally, the buoy would be right there on the top of the water. Anyway, it doesn't matter. That's fine. I'm gonna go ahead and, because I'm gonna be here anyway. I'm not going away. So we'll just go ahead and disconnect that cable, and I'll just stick it in one of these empty spots here, and we'll just go ahead and wait for that. And I'm gonna go ahead and deploy the second pot because we have never done that yet. So most testing's been done with the first pot. I'll go ahead and move the boat forward just a skosh. Let's go ahead and minutes. Wait, what? Hang on a second. There it is. It's taking a second to respawn. Just a lag. Alright, so we're just gonna move forward just a little bit. Just enough to make room for that other pot. We'll stop here. Let's check our depth. We're actually going out a little further. It's possible that maybe he put a depth sensor on there that after it gets to a certain depth it stops, and that's the reason why it didn't let out the rest of the line. Let me see if we move too far forward. We did a little bit, not too far though. Be alright. Okay, let me go ahead and set this next one up. Well, yeah, it's not supposed to actually retract in that far. I don't know why it's going back that far. Okay, so let's go forward. This is the first crane I ever built, by the way, so don't be too judgmental. And I think that's going to work just fine. Okay, I have a second cable though. Let's go ahead and use that. Good. Pop that on there. There it is. Yeah. Alright, let's let out number 2. Back to this. I try to be careful so I don't explode the deck and stuff like that. Okay, we'll go on up. And I try to keep that beam pretty much parallel to the water line. So that way when I shoot it out to the back of the boat. So like crabbing in this game right now is like a Reese's, so there's no wrong way to do it. You got multiple different ways of doing it. You can leave the pots on the boat. You can make your own pots. You can stack them tall. You can dump them and leave them. You can add sensors to them. You can do all kinds of stuff. You can let that down. But this is the way I'm doing it right now. And if I can get this to work, I intended to add a second row of crab pots on the bottom. And from what I've heard, it takes a few minutes to get these completely full. But I want to fill them all the way up because I've never done that, and I'm testing that with the boat. And something else I need to look at, because I may have made a mistake here. Yeah, we did. So these are filled with coal, and the reason why they're filled with coal is because I was testing how much the boat could actually carry and weight and things like that. And so I figured, since we can't actually fill these with fish through the editor, I just fill them with coal, because coal weighs a lot more. And if it can pull coal, it can definitely pull fish and crabs. So that's why these are actually full. I should have actually emptied these before we left. But it'll be okay because I can put those crab pots on the deck. The crabs will still be crawling around and whatnot. And I won't be able to turn them in probably to the gantry. But Oh, you know what? I might actually be able to do that at the gantry. I can pull all this coal out through the gantry. So it's going to be big, strong boy if it can pull all these full, large coal hoppers plus those uh, 2 full crab pots. So that'll be interesting. Crap. I see you. Alright, anyway. So let's have a look at the system and see where the buoy's at. This one's not doing the same. I don't know what's going on with that. Oh crap, I don't have my dive suit. Let's go back up. Oh no! Dang it. Alright. Oh, they added Santa Sleigh. That's cool. Usually they don't do that. I don't remember them doing that ever. Cool. Alright, let me just home out real fast to the boat. I didn't anticipate that happening. I forgot I didn't have my dive suit on. We weren't out too far. There's my items. So things went wrong with this pot. And I don't know if they went wrong because they were still connected or what. Let me pull this pot back up. Because that winch should have started sounding off even if it wasn't our system. With the original system, it should have still let rope out. For some reason it didn't. Yeah, so Rustin's on vacation, so I'm gonna send him the link to the video after I'm done here. So he'll get to see the testing of the crab pots in action. I'm gonna pull it up to about there and stop it and see what happens. Put it back down in the water. Need to let it go down just a little bit more of the sensors in there. Let's see. Now that's underwater. But let me go grab the dive suit and check and make sure the medium winch is even working. I don't hear it. It worked, actually. It did work. This one worked fine. The other one did. That's weird. This one's perfect length almost. Well, we a little high, but it's still getting crabs. So let's go check that other pot. So my goal is that this becomes so reliable that I don't need to worry about diving down and check it. Not too many in these. Skill level of 3. I think you can hold 12 each. And yes, these are upside down. They're upside down because with this system, and Captain Cockrell even shows this, if you flip these upside down when you put them on the boat and you hit the release button, you can dump them straight into the hopper. Something I was just thinking about is I don't know if I have a release button set to all these pots. I may have to manually empty them. Okay, back up. I am a little bit concerned about sharks because I have had sharks just randomly show up, even while I'm in the dock building this thing. That was annoying. I'm testing. Okay, so I'm gonna, since that was the last one, I'm just gonna leave it on. Let me see, where are we? If I can find the exact location for where we're at, I might drive away and see if they despawn, just to see. Don't do that. I have to write it down. I probably won't be able to find these again if I drop them now, I think, but I will soon. I'm gonna probably add detector beacons. Actually, I think they have them. I just don't have an emergency beacon detector active. Let's see. 33. 33, 68, 24. That's the location for that one. And you should be able to see the other one from there. So, in theory, right? So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that corner over 2. Yeah, I might go ahead and disconnect this and let's see what happens. So, if you have a line that's longer than 40, you cannot disconnect it. And so that's the reason why this system got kind of tricky to make. Store that cable in there. I'll go ahead and stow the crane. Bring that arm back in. That should be good. That's a pretty strong arm. So, and you can see one from the other. So, if I can find one, I can find them both. Before I leave, though, I'm gonna let these pots fill. And I'll put this dive suit back up. The more that I'm using this dive suit to test this, the more I'm thinking I probably need to have a dive suit. Maybe right in this area, or an empty, where I can put the dive suit down when I'm not using it. So while we're waiting on that, I guess what I'll do is I'll go ahead and check out my spotlight. We'll turn it to night, and we'll try out some of the deck lights. Pretty dark there. So, let's see here. I have a dome light in here. Right there. I just don't remember if I hooked up the button for it or not. Is that it? That's the shift 1 button. Okay, so this is the up down. A little sensitive, you can hear it. And this is the left right. Yeah, the sensitivity of the lights need to be checked. Just a little bit. Not too much. Now, where's that dang light for the dome? Those are refueling pumps. Here's my heater. Since this was made for the Arctic. I don't think I installed a light switch. I bet I didn't do down here either. No. They are hooked up to power though. I have them on breakers, so this is why we test. I could have swore I had. No. I would have listed it if it was on the film. Yeah, I think all my lights don't have any buttons to turn them on because they're... Yeah, this is a refueling switch. I had them all on constant on, so I still need to add light buttons. But the boat looks pretty good whenever it has... this is why we test. Okay, well, let's go ahead and turn our lights back on, since this is the only one I think we have. That's the only one I thought I had. I could have swore that it was. Yeah. So a lot of these buttons and gauges and stuff will probably at some point become instrument panel blocks. I don't like using instrument panel blocks a lot. There's some things that should just have dials by themselves, and some that have switch buttons and stuff. But instrument panel blocks look a lot nicer instead of just having one big O square button to push. Yeah, there's no light in here. So let's go ahead and turn it back to day. About 9 o'clock in the morning, and we'll go down and check those crab pots. I do have a bed. I could just sleep and pass the time for the crab pots. I didn't think of that. Could do that. I might do that actually, if they're not full yet. So we'll go back to the first one. Actually. I thought I heard the winch still going for a second. So these are working quite nicely, and it's all the way down at 60. It's just this one's got some kind of length issue. We've got 5 in the pot, so let's go up to the boat and have a sleep. 24-hour sleep, and they should all be full. I'm gonna put this back in here on charge. And we'll just take a nap. A little nappy nap. I don't know how much time it's actually passed. I don't know if that's on. I don't know if that's an hour or 2 hours. Let's go have a look at our crab pots. This won't be a long stream. I'm just doing this while I'm waiting on dinner. And, go grab that dive suit. I need that. Damn it, Bobby. Get up there. Let's dive down and have a look. Those are looking pretty full. 16. Those are full. Alright. So it didn't take that long. We only had to sleep twice. And if that one's full, this one's definitely full. And I don't know what the weight of this is completely full with crabs. Yeah, those are full. Those are all full. Great. So it's working out pretty nicely. So we'll go ahead and pick these up, and the boat should be able to hold that. There shouldn't be too much weight at all. And then we'll go to the gantry. I'll empty all these damn coals, and then we'll dump the crabs and see how that works. Alright, let's send our boom out, and I'm going to go ahead and bring it down pretty close to the water's edge so that I can hook up the that'll work. Do it this way. I need to have room for the crab pot, so I gotta straighten this out. That should work. Should be plenty good there. Alright, pop that on. Bring up some crabs. This will be the first time ever that I've actually completely filled up the pot. So this is going to be, let's go ahead and pull this up a little bit now that we're getting I want to keep that nice and straight, parallel to the water, so I don't have the crab pot nail the back of the boat as it's coming up. Is it coming up? I think I hear the winch, so I think it is coming up. Yeah, it looks to be. Is that coming up? Let me get down here. Look. It started, and then it stopped. Oh, it didn't start. No, it didn't start, because that's the length of the line. Hmm. Okay. I can't retrieve that if it won't come up. Let me see. I think what can I do. It should be sending the up signal to that. I don't know why it's not. Let me try bringing it back down, and maybe the winch is acting up. The battery could be dead too. I didn't think about that. Let's see if this is. I'm gonna check the battery on the winch and see if maybe the battery went dead while sleeping. I mean, it's not bad. Hmm. Yeah, cable's too long to detach, so I can't do it that way. I'm gonna lower this down and see if maybe extending it. No, because the buoy's staying on the top of the water, so I'm just letting out line now. Okay. This is why I'm testing it while he's gone, because, I mean, I don't want to waste a bunch of time. He doesn't have that much time, so we'll just see if this works. Trying to think on how I can, if it's not going to pull up, I don't know what to do. Other than taking it back to the bench and looking. Well, we got all the crabs we need. And is it coming up? That seems to be higher than what it was before. And it also seems to be gliding back down. Hmm. Hmm. Trying to think how. If it doesn't come up, I can't really do much. I mean, there's ways I could probably pull that up. I just, not with this boat. The whole point is testing the boat, so. If it doesn't come up, I didn't mean to do that. Let's try raising the crane and see how far up that'll actually pull. Maybe I can get it close enough above the water that we can pull the water. That's probably not. That's still pretty far down there. Yeah, I think that one's gonna also do the same thing. Only thing I can do is test. So let's go ahead and drop this one. We'll leave this one here and I'll go over and see if I can pull the other one up. Maybe this one has a problem that we don't. But the other one doesn't have, maybe. Pull this in. Bring this arm down where I can disconnect that buoy. Alright, let's disconnect it. That's no good. I think that's stuck to the boat. Get off. Yeah, that's gonna be bad. Let's not do that. I'd rather not destroy the boat. Alright, we'll do it that way. Yeah. Got it. Alright, we're gonna put it in reverse, Terry. There you go. So we drifted off course a little bit. And this is not how I'm going to be fishing, but this is how I'm testing. So just going to see if that one actually works. Reverse. Where's the buoy? There it is. Alright, that'll work. That's good. Let's go ahead and go hook it up. Yeah. Won't let me in there. Hang on a second. There we go. Alright, let's see if that pulls up. Since the other one did. There's the buoy. I don't hear a winch. Oh, I do not hear another winch going. Okay, so that one did the exact same thing. Well, crap. That didn't work. Okay. That's enough for me. On that note, we'll just put that diving suit back. Get out of here. Oh, Mr. Krabs, we tried, didn't we? Dang it. Alright. On that note, I think we'll just go ahead and trying to think if there's another way that I can possibly do this. I've got an idea. Got one more idea. Let me go back to the dock. And I'm going to grab another ship. I didn't want to showcase it on this one, but I'll go ahead and spawn it. I'll grab my other ship. Where is it? That's my boat. Well, there it is. We'll go ahead and use the Bear Grylls. Don't laugh. I like Bear Grylls. So, hang on a minute. Let me see. I don't know if this is the one that has the... Yeah, it does. Okay. That's what we're going to do. We're going to use the large winch and pull it up. That's what I'm going to do. Let's see here. Some gas. Put the clutch. Fire up this thing. This has not been set up to go with the update for the gas, so if the engines just die, it's because of that. It's not because I don't know what I'm doing. Anyway, yeah, this is the Bear Grylls. I didn't want to really showcase it this way, but I made this a long time ago. It was my first ship, and in the editor, it looked a lot bigger than it actually was by the time I got done. But this ship is pretty nice. It uses a PID system that I kind of adopted from Mr. In Jersey back when he used to do his tutorials, and I made my own ballast system using that, and it worked exponentially well. And this thing has survived tsunamis and all sorts of things. Later on, because I was in playing campaign and stuff, I adapted it to be able to use a rescue helicopter. And while this thing is not fuel efficient at all, and it guzzles fuel, I would travel out to where I was going to do the mission from, and then the distance that I would have used in the boat, I'd fly with the little helicopter that doesn't use very much fuel, and go and get them, and then I come back and I land on the deck. And I've done some absolutely crazy landings with this helicopter on this deck. It'd just be bobbing back and forth in some of the worst kind of weather and highest waves you can think of in the game. And I've been able to retrieve the helicopter in those kind of waves, get back in the boat, and go back to wherever I was taking the survivors to. So this is a very proven boat. But like I said, I'm not trying to showcase this here. I'm just trying to use it for the winch. So this is the only other option that I can think of. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull it up with the large winch because it has a line that goes down to 120. And my friend who set up the buoy for us, base cap, he actually had suggested using the large winch, and I could have, but I didn't want to do it that way. I had already had Captain Cockerel set up, and I already had the medium winch, so I didn't do it that way. Okay. So let me go ahead and we're just chugging along real slowly. This boat does not go very fast. I can do about 20 knots in it. We're fully weighed down with the helicopter on the deck. It can go probably about 25 knots without the helicopter. And the keel on it is because it had severe instability issues. Just constantly rolling because it's got a very slim profile. But I managed to fix that. It doesn't look like much, but this is a pretty amazing boat. What's underneath the deck there is actually a hospital. Hospital in there. We're just going to pull over here. I'm going to hook up the crab pots to the large winch, pull up the crab pots, put them on the deck of the crab boat, and call it good. And say what you want about Bear Grylls, man. Like, a lot of people are like, oh, he stayed in a hotel or whatever. He got stung above the eye while trying to wrangle a rattlesnake. So, or after. So yeah, so he got stung, and then he went and wrangled a rattlesnake, feed in the rattlesnake's skin, and then drank it. Like the guy is SAS. He fell. He had a skydiving accident and survived the skydiving accident, and then went and climbed Mount Everest like a few weeks later. So he knows what the hell he's doing. He can definitely survive. Just the network and the way things are on TV are not real life, so you shouldn't judge him based on that. The man knows a lot about survival. But I saw a thing where, what was it? Will Ferrell was talking about how he went to survive down with him in the Arctic. He really liked him, and it was a great experience for him. Alright, I'm just, like I said, I'm just kind of rolling along here. I don't want to get too quick. So we're going to pull up here, and I'm just going to quickly, we're basically up perfectly on course. Where's that other, it's over there behind the boat, so this is the one we're going to do first. We're nice and slow with it. Let's position the boat right about here. That'll be alright. Okay. And what I could do is I could start the helicopter, and I think there's a line on the bottom for an electric cable anchor right there. I could just pull them up that way and set them on the deck and call it good, but I'll probably bust a hole in the boat deck. Let's not do that. Alright, let me quickly just jump off here onto my boat, and we need to disconnect that. Actually, let's do it this way. Let's go over to there and ease this down, and then when we disconnect, we can just pop it right onto the winch. Try to extend that boom. That's almost there. Hopefully my large winch is hooked up. Yeah, we're pretty much right there. Let me pull up a little bit. That should work. Let's see if that works. Jump over here to this boat. And I did too. Okay, here we go. Just quickly pop that off. Oh shit, that's not what I want. That is not what I want to do. Actually, maybe that is what I wanted to do. Hang on. Because the line underneath is too long. He can't bring it back in like that. So what we'll do is we'll pop this on. And this will automatically go to 40 anyway. I don't know if this is actually going to work. I'm thinking about this. Probably not. I might see if I can just swim down with the cable. Let's just see what this does. I think it's just going to pull the buoy up, and it's not going to help me. Because that line is too long to disconnect. Let me see if I got a diver suit. So this would work if I had a mag-all connection on the large winch. I could just mag-all onto it and pull it up. I thought I could just disconnect this cord, but you can't because it's over 40 feet. So the idea here would have been to disconnect it. Yeah, you can't. So I was silly for thinking I could have done that. So let me see. Alright, let's do it this way. Y'all are gonna laugh. We're gonna do it this way though. Yeah. If it'll let me grab the anchors. Oh, I know why. Hang on a minute. Okay. Don't laugh. Don't laugh. Where are my other empties at? Oh, there they are. Been a while since I've been on this boat. Okay. Go. We're untethered. Puppy on here. A little bit of throttle. Spotlight. Well, that doesn't sound very good. Got fuel? Oh, told you this boat was handy. Alright, let's see. Pop that on. I don't know if I need pumps anymore though. Boy, I'll tell you what. Falling into the damn water. Can you just let me back up on the boat? Yeah, okay, you can do that. Eh. Lord, have mercy. Hang on a minute. I know what it is. Or do I? That's for that. There it is. There we go. Just fill this up real fast. She don't get as much fuel as she would because of the way that they did the update. 256 is good enough, I think, for what I'm gonna do. So let's. I don't know though if this is going to pick up, but I think it is. Let me see if I have connections on the bottom there. I don't know if I have auto hover on this or not anymore. I don't remember. Starter died. I think it might be kaput. What did I do? What did I change? Did our battery die? Yeah, our battery's cooked. What the hell? Just that one little start. Alright, hang on a minute. Boy, I'll tell you what. I got an idea. Yeah, the battery was just dead. Should start now. Told you this boat's useful. Alright. We started up. We're untethered. Here we go. Alright, this next part's gonna be tricky. I don't think we have auto cover. Oh, that was not good. I think I lost my tail rudder. I lost my tail rudder. Oh, okay. Well, I was gonna grab the crab pots and carry them up with the helicopter, but my food's done, y'all. So I'm gonna skedaddle. I might bring you guys something later. I don't know. We'll see. All right. Have a good night. Peace.